Have you guys seen the Sound of Freedom? That movie?
No, there's some good
No,
movies that
not
have
yet.
lately. I have to see that one. Or
I
not
mean,
good movies, but big names, big blockbusters.
yeah, there's some monologue shit that we got. We pulled up in our
I saw that.
chat earlier in the week. We'll talk about Barbie. Barbie's obviously a stupid ass movie, and people that think it's great are not part of my tribe. But I would definitely recommend going to see The Sound of Freedom over that if you had to pick one. It's especially if you got younger kids within the right range. It's probably worthwhile showing them the reality of the world out there and the reality of how the world can actually be versus how we're told it is from that angle. Anyway,
Did you see it, Rich?
yeah, it's good. It's good.
Maybe I'll do that this weekend. I've heard whenever you hear people say things about, oh, the U.S. is a terrible place, they had slavery or whatnot, I always try to remind them that there's actually more slaves now than there were at any given time back in that certain time range and period. And a lot of it is people that are unfortunately child trafficked, or they call it in here white slavery. So there's a big demand for lighter skinned people because they can put them into S3X work and they command a high price. That's actually a real thing. It's very common. A lot of people are ignorant to that fact.
Yeah, they make a big deal of it. I guess publicly, I saw a lot of people trying to condemn, Colombia as a result of that film, and it's like, dude, that's just one place it happens, and it's probably not even responsible for the largest percentage of child work in that area versus other parts in the world.
Very often,
is it? Well, I mean, you've got these asshats that they get off the hook all the time, the guys that are friends of the politicians that are the criminals that make the real laws, like Sam Bankman-Fried and all these guys that got let off recently, and you've got Mr. Pedophile Island with all these presidents and billionaires that visited.
Yeah.
So this is just a small, part of the puzzle, but it does exist. It's a reality. If you have small kids, you should definitely make them aware of how the world actually works, because they get fed a lot of bullshit that they don't really understand. So anyway,
what's the figure? I just looked it up. There's an estimate of 112,500 prostituted children in the U.S.
So that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. Ideally it would be zero, but that's a lot.
That's inside the U.S. alone.
Yeah, and they're trying to normalize this behavior. They're calling it what's the phrase? The woke phrase they use for it, like minor attracted person or something like that, or some.
Isn't that disgusting?
Yeah. Isn't it? Oh, let's just I hate how mainstream media and how these the optics of these politics and these sound bites that they use it's like kinder, friendlier versions of something that's shit. It's like, if it looks like shit and it smells like shit, can we just call it shit? Can we stop pretending that it's something that it's not?
Like body positivity, being a big fat. Really, that's what that is.
Yeah. Did you notice on the ladies' night show that we did the other day, when I asked the gals about Lizzo, I said, what do you think of Lizzo and the body positivity? It's like, not a single one of them wanted to have a single stance on it. They didn't want to have an opinion. They'll have opinions about what guys should be doing, but when it comes to publicly talking about something that would probably have diabetes, bad, like inflammation in their body and all that sort of stuff, it's like, nope, don't want to have an opinion about that. We'll be neutral, right?
Yeah, guys, if you're watching, hot chicks don't bang fat guys. I'll throw it out there for you. Problem solved. They just have to say that publicly, like Paul Benjamin of Apex Mindset says, the good chimp, bad chimp type thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, unless you're rich, obviously that's the only time you'll get laid, if you're a fat dude. But there are no chubby chaser dating sites for women chasing big dudes. They still value the conventionally strong masculine traits that they find attractive. Let me read this monologue here that we found on the Barbie movie. There's 4 slides here, so just give me a second. It says, it's literally impossible to be a woman. So this is basically summing up what, I guess, reporters and bloggers and, these, I guess, movie response critics sort of talk about with the movie. And I'm assuming this is more left-leaning, the way that it reads, but it goes, it's literally impossible to be a woman. You are so beautiful, you are so smart, and it kills me that you don't think you're good enough. Like, we always have to be extraordinary, but somehow we're always doing it wrong. You could use that exact same soundbite and substitute woman for man, can't you? You have to be thin, but not too thin. You can never say you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but also you have to be thin. You have to have money. No, you don't. You just have to be pretty agreeable and not a bitch, basically. You have to have money, and you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss. No, you don't. But you can't be mean. It goes on to say, you have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman. No, you don't. But also always be looking out for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior. Since when? I mean, half the time it's made up, which is insane. But if you point that out, you're accused of complaining. You're supposed to stay pretty for men. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like men are expected to stay successful for women, right? Women are beauty objects, men are success objects, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women because you're supposed to be part of the sisterhood. But always stand out, always be grateful, but never forget the system is rigged. So find, I mean, women complaining about a rigged system, right? So find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful. Yeah. You have to never get old. I mean, we all age, so I don't know what that's about. Never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear. Gee, this sounds a lot like encouraging men to chase excellence, doesn't it? Doesn't sound like the descriptive behaviors for a feminine woman.
Letting no one holds them to those standards. That's all made up.
This is all made up in their caffeinated brain, right?
Half of it's just wishing nuance didn't exist either.
Yeah, I know. Well, let me finish it because I mean, like, you had a great chunk of feedback to that. Never get out of line. It's never too hard. It's too contradictory, and nobody gives you a medal and says thank you. And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us. And if all of that is also true for a doll, referencing the Barbie movie, just representing a woman, then I don't even know. Anyway, you had some good feedback on that. Do you want me to read what you wrote, or do you want to read it out, or do you just want to state it again?
Yeah, you go ahead and read it if you like.
Okay. Give me a sec. I got this caffeine gum in my mouth, and it tastes like a fucking ashtray. Sorry, not caffeine, it's nicotine. So Jake said, I say it all the time, women's worst opponents and judges in social regards and beauty standards is other women. Female media culture, magazines, blogs, etc., are the ones setting more convoluted, ridiculous standards, preaching that it is what men want. Women reading this garbage blame men because they're told that it's men that set those standards, when in reality it's female mainstream media and the beauty industry that just constantly looking for more red meat and bullshit to talk, so they aren't cast into irrelevance. They've been tricked into mass consumerism, tuition, clothes, makeup, shoes, etc., tapping into their competition anxiety drive, and we've taken the blame for it. Most men just want a chick that's pleasant in behavior, on the eyes, and in bed, and no money telling women not to rack up student debt. There's no money in telling women not to rack up student debt, not to blow money on shitloads of makeup, and not to fill their faces with boxed wine and food delivery. It's a little bit of reality. It's a cold, hard truth, I suppose. I don't know, like women complaining about a Barbie movie, which is clearly, based in fucking total fiction. I mean, I didn't watch it, but I mean, if you look at the trailer, it's clearly a fictional standpoint on love and relationships and reality. But it's like, oh, it's too hard and it's too contradictory, and we have to do this and we have to do that. And it's like, women just really have to do two things: just be nice and be pretty. That's it. I mean, it's not hard to get a valuable guy if you're nice and pretty and you know where to place yourself in the right room and not be a hoe and do all the right things. It's not that difficult. You don't need to climb the corporate ladder. You don't need degrees. You don't need a 17 degrees framed in mahogany with little letters after your name. Just be attractive. That's it. Be attractive and nice. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here. And pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.